Damon, hooray! I'm so excited you're spending the holidays in Oregon. Just wait until you see your home away from home. Next time, we'll make room for Brody and your sisters, too. This time, get ready for plenty of surprises. We're going to show you all the sights from the rainforest to the desert, to the mountains to the beach. You'll snowboard on a huge volcano, bike through the biggest city in the state, and dip your toes in the Pacific Ocean. You'll see forests and fields, rivers and critters, and get expert commentary from Mom. We've mapped out a whirlwind tour, so as Grandpa says, hold on to your hat. On second thought, make that lots of hats, plus a cap, a hood, and a helmet. You are heading, get it, for all kinds of activities in all kinds of conditions, and we never let bad weather spoil the fun. Oh, be sure to bring an extra duffel. You won't believe the gifts we've picked out for your 12 days of Christmas in Oregon. Your Portland cousin Liz. P.S. Do Oregonians really have webbed feet? You'll find out. Dear Mom and Dad, flying into Portland, you glide over forests and farms as you follow the river to the airport. Green on green on green. Liz and Aunt Deb met me at the airport exit gate, and then Grandpa pulled up towing a cottage on wheels. Liz had decorated the porch with twinkle lights and a Douglas fir seedling in a pot. Grandpa says it's the straight tree, and we'll have to plant it with room to grow. Douglas fir trees get to be hundreds of feet tall. No kidding, the forest along the historic Columbia River Highway is full of them. They're ginormous. Our first official stop was Vista House, an observatory on top of a giant bluff called Crown Point. It gives you a stupendous view of the Columbia River. While we were there, a bird perched on my treetop. Aunt Deb called him a western meadowlark, the state bird. I'm going to call him Bo because he looks just like a bright yellow bow on a present. Liz says he showed up with a special hello. When he sings, it sounds like he's saying, Oregon is a pretty place to live. Totally true. So far, so fantastic. Damon. P.S. I thought it was raining at Crown Point, but Liz says that sprinkles don't count. On the first day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, last night we camped beside the Columbia River, just like the explorers Lewis and Clark, except they didn't have a nice dry trailer to sleep in. It was pouring. Liz says it was just a little shower. The Columbia creates most of the border between Oregon and Washington, and the Columbia River Gorge is where it cuts a steep canyon through the mountains. These mountains are called the Cascade Range because of all the waterfalls that tumble over the steep slopes. We passed cascade after cascade before we stopped at Multnomah Falls, named for a powerful chief who ruled the tribes in the area in the 1700s. Multnomah Falls is a gigantic. Aunt Deb says it's one of the tallest year-round waterfalls in the United States. The water drops about 620 feet from top to bottom, taller than a 60-story building, and is split into two parts called steps. We hiked up to the footbridge that comes over the lower step. From there you can get a noisy, misty view of both steps as the water crashes down the cliff. Yours till the water falls, Damon. On the second day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 2 waterfalls and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, Malheur National Wildlife Refuge includes a huge wetland that used to be part of an ancient lake. It is located in the high desert east of the Cascades. President Teddy Roosevelt set this area aside back in 1908 to give the millions of migrating birds on the Pacific Flyway a safe spot to rest. Bo is taking it easy too, even though he got here on the highway. Haha. There are also plenty of animals, including rabbits, mice, badgers, and weasels. A full menu for the raptors that spend the winter in the rimrock. We saw a great horned owl that was almost as big as Brody. We camped near the Donner and Blitzen River, which comes from the German words for thunder and lightning, just like the names of Santa's reindeers. It flows into the Malheur Lake and joins Harney Lake to create a huge marsh. It wasn't surprising to see a family of beavers working hard on a dam. Liz says their lodge is almost as cozy as ours. I'm glad, between the coyotes, the birds of prey, and the cold, it's nice to be inside, no matter what kind of critter you are. Safe and sound and busy as, you guessed it, an Oregon beaver, Damon. Aunt Deb says that Malheur means unhappiness in French, but don't worry, I'm having a great time. On the third day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, today we collected thunder eggs. They look like baseballs made of stone, but that's just the outside shell. Inside there can be a bright gemstone crystal and layers of quartz and opal, but you can't tell what you'll find until you slice them open. Grandpa knows an old rock hound with a giant rock collection and a bunch of great tools, including a special saw. He sliced through our thunder eggs in half and polished them to bring out all the layers and colors. Amazing! Native American legends say that the thunder spirits stole the eggs from the thunderbird's nest to lop at each other whenever they were angry. That's why these thunder eggs are scattered all over the place. But Aunt Deb says they formed from bubbly lava during ancient volcano eruptions. They come in all sizes, from as small as a grape to a bigger than a beach ball, and all of them are full of surprises. Near Christmas Valley, we stopped to explore Fossil Lake, a dry lake bed where you can see 10,000-year-old remains of birds, fish, and mammals. Maybe Bo should change his tune. Oregon rocks. Your rockhound, Damon. On the 4th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, best day ever. I was afraid we wouldn't make it to Crater Lake because the road can be buried under 20 feet of snow in winter. But when cars can't get through, snowmobiles rule. We had a chilly picnic beside the deep blue lake, the deepest in the United States. Aunt Deb says Crater Lake was formed when Mount Mazama erupted more than 7,000 years ago. I thought Crater Lake was great, but Liz prefers volcanoes that are still in one piece. She lives in the right place. The string of volcano peaks in the Cascades is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Oregon volcanoes haven't erupted in a long time, but experts say some of them may still be active. Mount Hood, Mount Jefferson, and the Three Sisters, North, South, and Middle, are all dormant, sleeping volcanoes over 10,000 feet high. They look quiet and peaceful right now, but I know from experience that sisters can blow their stacks at any time. Just kidding, haha. Lava and kisses from Bo and me, Damon. On the 5th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, today we started with snowboarding at Mount Bachelor. Not only is Mount Bachelor another volcano, it's also a ski resort. where the United States Olympic ski and snowboarding teams often train. I took a lesson and then went up the lift with Liz for my first official run. I fell down 57 times, but I didn't even care. Getting up gave me time to enjoy the deep, soft powder, blue sky, and amazing view. Liz stopped laughing at me after about the 29th time I face planted. I may not be ready for boosting. That's when you catch air off a jump, but I'm learning. After dinner, Grandpa asked me if we wanted some hot cocoa. Obviously, but it turned out we had to work for it. We took a moonlit snowshoe tour along a trail leading to the mouth of a cave called a lava tube. Liz and I put on our headlamps and followed the guide into a network of underground tunnels that opened into a big, rocky rooms. We were careful not to disturb the bow-sized bats dangling from the ceiling. Back outside, we counted shooting stars, and we finally got our cocoa too. Love from the bunny slope, Damon. On the 6th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 6 borders boosting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, today we stopped in the Painted Hills. They are part of the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument. Aunt Deb says the whole area of dry shrubland was once a tropical river valley. The plants that grew here and the fine sandy soil left behind from ancient floods have created fantastic layered hills in shades of red, gray, and gold. We had lunch at the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center near Baker City. The exhibits and films show you just what it was like to head west in the 1800s. Liz and I sat in a prairie schooner just like the wagons the pioneers used for the dusty 5-month trip. From Baker City, we wound up into the craggy peaks of the Wallowa Mountains, known as the Alps of Oregon. In the summer, there are lots of hikers, anglers, and boaters helping themselves to all kinds of outdoor fun. But in the winter, it is quieter, except for the night that we were there, that is. Gray wolves from the Snake River pack roam this part of Oregon. Aunt Deb says that the wolves here are in danger of becoming extinct and are protected and tracked by wildlife managers. We were so lucky to hear them, and they were just like Brody. They won't pipe down. Oh, Damon. P.S. If you are in the Polar Bear Club like Grandpa, you can end the year with a swim in the icy lake. Brr. On the 7th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 7 gray wolves howling, 6 borders boosting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, on today's leg of the trip, we followed the Oregon Trail to Pendleton, curving down the steep grade called Cabbage Hill. It's named for a pioneer who grew cabbages nearby. It is not an easy trip for kids and a bird in a car towing a trailer, but it must have been extra tricky for oxen pulling a covered wagon. From the summit, you can see a frosty patchwork of wheat ranches stretching out to the Cascades halfway across the state. Liz says the road leads to cowgirl country, but there are plenty of cowboys, too. Pendleton is known for its 10,000 years of tribal history, its wool blankets, and its roping, riding, and racing. The Pendleton Roundup, held every September, is a world-famous rodeo. We visited Tamashik, the tribal community center, toured by the Pendleton Woolen Mills, and saw the Roundup exhibits at the Happy Canyon Hall of Fame. Then we took a bumpy horseback ride for our very own taste of the wild, Wild West. Yeehaw! Damon. P.S. The roundup motto is Letterbuck, but clip-clopping was just fine with me. On the 8th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 8 broncos bucking, 7 gray wolves howling, 6 borders boasting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, as much as I'd like to be a volcanologist, an Olympic skier, a wildlife expert, or rodeo star when I grow up, I think I'd be a windsurfer instead. We are here in Hood River, the windsurfing capital of the world, and the sailors are out on the water in their wetsuits, skimming across the Columbia River. They are 100% awesome. The Columbia River Gorge is 80 miles long and over 4,000 feet deep in some places. Aunt Deb says the steep cliffs of the gorge create a natural wind tunnel, perfect for conditions for one crazy sport. When the wind is high, the water is wild. The sailors glide, loop, jump over the choppy white caps, and spin at top speed. It is totally fun to watch them race. But Liz has taken lessons in the summertime, and she says it is 10 times more fun to be in the water than it is to be on shore. Count me in. Cheers, Damon. On the 9th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 9 sailors surfing, 8 broncos bucking, 7 gray wolves howling, 6 borders boosting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, we're in Portland, the Rose City. Portland is one of the greenest cities in the United States. You might think that because of the trees, parks, and gardens, including thousands of rose bushes. But it's also because Portlanders try to take good care of the environment. Streetcars and trains zip all over the city. There are 300 miles of bikeways for the pedaling, pushing population. In downtown Pioneer Courthouse Square, there's a bronze statue of a man holding an umbrella, and he's the only person I saw using one. Real people just wear caps or hoods in the mist, drizzles, sprinkles, and showers. Liz and Grandpa liked browsing the artist booths at the Saturday market near the river in Old Town. Boo and Deb and I liked visiting Packy, an elephant at the Oregon Zoo. And all of us liked eating. Portland is known for its fabulous food carts. We ate gooey grilled cheese, streamy bowls of Thai noodles, and veggie burgers made with beets. We ended the day with a bike ride along the waterfront. Portland is the best place on 2 wheels. Yours till the rain drops, Damon. On the 10th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 10 Portland food carts, 8 sailors surfing, 8 broncos bucking, 7 gray wolves howling, 6 borders boosting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, today we traveled down the Willamette Valley through 150 miles of vineyards, farms, and orchards tucked between the Cascades and the Coast Range. The valley is filled with sheep and cows and all sorts of crops. Christmas trees, fruits, nuts, vegetables, flowers, and even plain old grass. The Willamette Valley is the grass seed capital of the world. We stopped and bought honey, winter pears, and carrots at a farm market that passed the Capitol building in Salem and its gold Oregon pioneer statue on top before heading over the mountains to the Pacific Ocean. The second we got to the coast, I had my shoes off. Liz and I raced across the sand and splashed into the ice-cold surf. Bo mingled with the pelicans and gulls swooping over the beach. When Grandpa mentioned the sea lion caves, I expected a cramped, damp hole. But Oregon has one of the biggest sea caves in the world. The Stony Hall is as tall as a 12-story building and is home to a herd of 200 sea lions barking like crazy. They are known for their little ears, huge size, strong smell, and non-stop talk. Arf, 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 from the edge of North America. Damon. On the 11th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 11 sea lions barking, 10 Portland food carts, 9 sailors surfing, 8 broncos bucking, 7 gray wolves howling, 6 borders boosting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Dear Mom and Dad, as you know by now from my letters, Oregon is a great place to visit if you like mountains, and today's mountains were made of sand. This part of the Oregon coast has the biggest stretch of coastal sand dunes in North America. We went on a dune buggy tour that was like a roller coaster ride, except with goggles and helmets. A few more wild dips, sharper turns, and a cool view of the ocean. The Dungeness crab is Oregon's official state crustacean, and you can see why when you meet the fleet. Aunt Deb has a friend who is a crabber. She took us out in her boat to catch our dinner. I liked helping Grandpa pull the crab pots out of the water. They look like wire hat boxes filled with wiggly legs and clammy claws. We ended up having a huge crab feed on the beach with a big bonfire and s'mores for dessert. Speaking of s'mores, I need to spend some more time exploring Oregon, but I promised Aunt Deb, Grandpa, and Liz that I'd bring all of you with me next time. You'll love it here. Ho, ho, home tomorrow. You'd better pick me up in the pickup. Bo and I have lots to share. Love, Damien. On the 12th day of Christmas, my cousin gave to me 12 crabbers crabbing, 11 sea lions barking, 10 Portland food carts, 9 sailors surfing, 8 broncos bucking, 7 gray wolves howling, 6 borders boosting, 5 snowy peaks, 4 thunder eggs, 3 beavers, 2 waterfalls, and a meadowlark in a fir tree. Oregon, the beaver state. Capital, Salem. State abbreviations, OR. Largest city, Portland. State bird, the western meadowlark. State flower, the Oregon grape. The state tree, the Douglas fir. State animal, the American beaver. State insect, the Oregon swallowtail. State rock, the thunder egg. State fish, the Chinook salmon. State crustacean, the Dungeness crab. State motto, she flies with her own wings. State song, Oregon, my Oregon. Some famous Oregonians. James Beard was born in Portland. He grew up in a family that liked to cook and became a highly respected chef, teacher, writer, and television personality. Beverly Clearly is an award-winning children's book author. From an early age, she wanted to write funny stories about kids in her northeast Portland neighborhood. Romana Quimby, Harry Higgins, and a dog named Rigsby, all of Clickatack Street, are among the characters she created. Their sculptures can be seen in Portland's Grant Park, not far from the real Klickitat Street. Abigail Scott Dunaway was born in Illinois and immigrated to Lafayette, Oregon, when she was 17. She was a writer, a journalist, a farmer, and a businesswoman, but was best known as an outspoken promoter of women's rights. She published a newspaper to spread her views and spent 40 years working tireless to see that women were given the right to vote. Matt Groening, born in Portland, is an artist and writer. He is a creator of The Simpsons, an Emmy Award-winning television series featuring the daily ins and outs of a cartoon family. Steve Prefontaine was born in Coos Bay on the southern Oregon coast. He grew up to be a track star at the University of Oregon and held 7 American records before his life was cut short in a car accident. His talent and dedication continue to inspire generations of runners, and his legacy has helped make Eugene the track and field capital of the world. The 12 Days of Christmas in Oregon, written by Susan Blackaby, illustrated by Carolyn Conahan.